Bentornati. Abbiamo concluso anche Nashada, quindi abbiamo reclutato Mira nel nostro equipaggio. E se abbiamo seguito gli episodi bonus che ho deciso di inserire perché non ero soddisfatto del reroll, non ero soddisfatto di come le cose erano andate con Nashada, quindi ho deciso di rigiocarlo da capo. Avete visto come in realtà abbiamo guadagnato un altro Jedi oltre ad Atton, che è Baudur. Adesso, quindi dopo aver rintracciato tutti i maestri Jedi, l'unica parte mancante è la crisi politica su Onderon. Abbiamo visto come potevamo iniziarla, poi la crisi politica sarebbe andata in pausa mentre noi finivamo tutti gli altri pianeti, quindi il gioco obbliga la progressione della storia in modo che Onderon sia l'ultimo pianeta da risolvere. Però abbiamo visto anche come è coerente dal punto di vista narrativo, in quanto simula meglio lo scorrere del tempo ed è molto più coerente anche con una crisi politica. Ora, nella puntata di oggi faremo un altro giro di just chatting con i nostri compagni di viaggio alla ricerca di conversazioni non fatte, informazioni aggiuntive, eccetera eccetera. Se ci riusciamo c'è anche un altro Jedi nascosto nella nostra ciurma. Inoltre voglio vedere con voi la caratterizzazione di HK47, che per me è un altro dei migliori personaggi di questo gioco.
I serve my master. My master was aware of a there. You cannot eat. If it would be.
Ok, Visas ancora non ci dice nulla, quindi dobbiamo aspettare il confronto finale con il suo maestro, che tanto avverrà.
Yes, General.
Baudur non ha opzioni di dialogo. Non vedo T3.
Yes.
Non ha altre opzioni di dialogo, quindi ci concentreremo su Mandalore, Kreia, Goto e soprattutto Mira e HK47, quindi in realtà abbiamo parecchie cosine da fare. Ok, allora proviamo tipo ad aumentare il nostro punteggio di riparazione, se possibile. Automatica, demolizione, sistema di sicurezza. No. Demolizione. Altezza, forza. Ok. Sono i migliori che vedo. Tutti quanti di automazione. C'è la cintura. Destrezza 3. Ok. Abbiamo aumentato il nostro punteggio, vediamo. Ancora fallimento. Ma qui no. No. No, non siamo in grado. Quindi il nostro punteggio deve salire ancora.
Something up?
Qui c'è
Something.
nulla, se non sbaglio.
All right.
No. Ok, andiamo quindi a parlare con i nostri personaggi nuovi. Riparazione comunque 9 più 5 è 14. Quindi non è sufficiente probabilmente per terminare. Allora, io inizierei da Mira. Conosciamo la storia di questo personaggio, anche se un pochino però anticipata.
Hey. Can I ask you something? Your face. Well, you have this glow. I mean, not a real glow, but it's like you're calm. At peace, but it's more than that. You haven't been chewing on spice, have you? Oh, well, it shows. It's like you're hooked up to a power coupling. It's weird. I mean, not bad weird, it's just weird. For a minute there, I thought you and the handmaiden... But it's just the Force. You know, hooked up a power coupling. You know? did you get out much as a Jedi? I was asking if you two had been, you know,
Sì, anche questa
intimate.
è una cosa da gestire.
Got it. Just checking. Yeah, something wrong? Go ahead and ask. It's all this traveling, being trapped in the ship. Everything's just too quiet. I'd rather be doing something, somewhere with people, activity, some life. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been off planet. Guess I got used to it. Well, Nar Shaddaa may be one of the biggest cesspits in the galaxy, but it's got a life to it. Activity, aliens, people, refugees. It's like noise, but relaxing. Like the hum of a hyperdrive. Yeah, well, I wouldn't go that far. I'll believe it when I see it. Maybe one day, I'll let you. Alright, but I doubt you're gonna show me anything I don't already know. And when you show me, don't act like a tourist. It attracts predators.
Ok.
Yeah, something wrong? Go ahead and ask. Yeah, more or less. I wasn't born there, I just ended up there. Well, the war happened. The first one, against the Mandalorians. I had family right up until the end. It's not really a new story, you hear it all over the galaxy. It's what happens after the wars are over that you don't hear much about. I think so. After Revan crushed the Mandalorians, planets throughout the Republic were flooded with refugees. I was just one of the others. Me? I got passage to Nar Shaddaa. From there, not much you can do, so I became a bounty hunter. Take a guess, Jedi. Only 2 groups of people would have lost family at Malachor. And Jedi don't have families. As much as any slave becomes a Mandalorian. They took prisoners on every world they conquered to bolster their ranks. And they took a lot of worlds. When I was young, yeah. They mostly used me to carry ammo packs and munitions. Toward the end of the war, they needed everyone they could get. They taught me to fight, to hunt, to survive. I was part of their squad, even when I was young. Everyone served as part of the unit, and I felt like I had a place there. After Malachor, it really didn't matter anymore. The Mandalorians lost. Bad. But you know that. Yeah, I know. I saw the worlds they left behind them during the war. That kind of stays with you, I haven't forgotten it. What happened at Malachor, they probably deserved it. Should I be? Maybe I should ask you if you're happy about all the Jedi who died on Malachor 5. Maybe it felt like you lost family there, but I doubt it. Yeah, that kind of stays with you, I haven't forgotten it. Yeah, something wrong? Go ahead and ask. I've killed people before, but not if I don't have to. Oh, do I? Is that it? How you could ever possibly hope to understand is beyond me. Jedi don't have family. I know what happened at Malachor 5, and I know the Jedi didn't care about life there. Get away from me. The next time you come and ask me a question, I swear I'll shoot you in the head and dump you out the airlock. What do you want now? Whatever, don't worry about it. It's just a sore subject with me. Yeah, well, they're dead. That's how that story ends. But not everybody's story has to end with losing their family or their loved ones. And not all the bounty hunting I do is for criminals or killers. There's a lot of lost people out there, scattered ever since the Mandalorian Wars. And sometimes, it's like you can almost hear them. Like an echo, calling out for each other. And maybe, just maybe by finding them, I can start putting the galaxy back together. Maybe. We'll see. I don't even know why I'm telling you this. But you're not getting anything else out of me.
Ok, come vedete tipo stavo portando avanti il dialogo in questa maniera perché
Yeah, something wrong?
stiamo acquisendo influenza.
Go ahead and ask. Anhar's only a bounty hunter because that's the closest word for what he does. He's not out for credits. It's more vicious than that, and it runs a lot deeper. It's like he's out to make the whole galaxy suffer. Every living thing in
Abbiamo
it.
parlato di
He
Anhar.
wants to break them, ruin them. And when they can't suffer anymore, he wants them dead. I didn't kill him once. Biggest mistake ever. Do you really want to hear this? Well, Hanhar and me go way back, in the worst possible way. He's from some forest planet on the Outer Rim where Zerka had set up one of their slaving operations. I don't remember the name. Something with too many K's and
Benedetta
Y's.
Chic.
Sounds like you're gargling Ronto spit when you say it. Well, not for long. Once off planet, Hanhar escaped from the Zerka slavers, then killed them all. I don't know. I always thought he just liked using them as weapons. Well, before you get too proud of him, Hanhar figured Zerka had the right idea. I don't think he understood the concept of slavery before, at least on the scale that Zerka practiced it. But now he did. You ever hear of Dursan 3, or the ID cluster colonies? Right, that's because Hanhar happened. He makes what happened to his homeworld look like an exercise in community building. He's not a bounty hunter. He's a slaver. A predator. It's like he's out to enslave or kill every human in the galaxy, like he's trying to settle some huge score or debt. I don't get it, but he's dangerous. Anyone who paid credits. And sometimes he just hunted humans for sport. The ones who survived, he sold to the exchange, to the huts, to anyone who'd buy bodies, living or dead. He and Voga used to do big credit transactions. That hut really liked the look of unwrinkled humans for some reason. Didn't make him too popular with the other huts, let me tell you.
Noi abbiamo già parlato della storia di Anhar e come in realtà è stato spinto a questa follia perché ha dovuto scegliere tra la libertà e la schiavitù della colonia.
I was prey. And not only did I escape, but I saved his life while doing it. He's been hunting me ever since. I don't pretend to understand it, but among his people, they have these codes of honor.
Sì,
But
debito
somewhere
di vita.
along the line, Hanhar's got twisted. His people form these things called life debts. If you save the life of one of them, they pledge themselves to you. Well, with Hanhar, he can't escape that life debt. It's bred into him. But he hates every other living thing in the galaxy, so pledging himself to someone else, especially a human, was unbearable. So when I saved his life, it was the worst thing I could do. It was like slavery all over again. But it was in his head. It was like it pushed him over the edge.
Sì.
A life debt to Hanhar is a death sentence. He'll hunt you until you're dead. When I saved his life, it meant he had to kill me. And so he kept chasing me in hopes I would die. I think the fact I showed him mercy after hating humans for so long, that was something he couldn't stand. Probably. But if he had multiple life debts, especially to humans, Hanhar would probably go mad. He was angry before, sure, but he'd be 10 times worse if that happened. Hanhar's tough. Really tough. And when he loses it, it's like nothing can stop him. Seen him shrug off blaster bolts, Bothan stunners, and even survive a freighter crash on Dursan 3. He keeps coming. Oh, I'm glad he's gone. It's like a weight off my shoulders.
Non sa che in
I
realtà
don't have to keep
Anhar
watching my
ancora
back
vivo.
every minute, wondering when he's gonna show up. And he always did. It's like he always knew where I was. Trust me, if he was still alive, he'd be chasing us even now, waiting to ambush us when we least expect it. And he always shows up at the worst possible time. He was one of the best bounty hunters on Nar Shaddaa. Hanhar never gives up on his prey. Or his life debts. He's a hunter. He's a natural predator. Well, as happens on Nar Shaddaa, I made someone mad. Mad enough for them to send Hanhar after me. Turns out they were even able to get him cheap. He'd heard about me and wanted to hunt me down, for sport. He didn't think I'd be much of a challenge. Well, he tried to box me down in vents beneath the Nar Shaddaa docks, and he'd set one too many proximity mines to cover the escape routes. I think he'd hoped to drive me into the mines and then let them do the work. Or that I'd be too scared to try and walk through them. Thing is, I knew Hanhar's supplier, and the trigger signatures for the mines. It was pretty easy to broadcast a signal to blind their sensor receptors for a minute or two. I figured that would buy me enough time to move through them and get away. No, it isn't. I spent most of my childhood hauling mines and munitions. got to know my way around them. If I hadn't, I wouldn't be here right now. Like I said, I disarmed the trigger fuses for enough of the mines to get by, temporarily. And Hanhar was pretty fast on my trail. I just made it to safety when he hit the first one. The blast leveled the entire ventilation section, and Hanhar was caught right in the middle, and he survived. Barely. He was crawling around, blinded from the flash and the plasma burns. And it happened so fast, and all the blood had been scabbed and crusted from the flash. I had the drop on him, and even blind, he knew it. He could still hear me. My ears were ringing from the blast, but I could hear him. I think he was begging me to let him live. His voice, it wasn't a roar, more like an echo of it. I suppose I should have killed him, but I couldn't do it. He was in pain, and he was helpless. So I dragged him out of there enough to get him to safety, and he kept hunting me ever since. He said he'd pursue me to the edge of the galaxy. No matter where I ran, he would find me and break me, that I would always be prey. Maybe. I've thought about that moment. A lot. Wondered if I would do things differently if I had another chance.
Ok, penso che ormai Miraggio abbia detto tutto.
Yeah, something wrong? Talk. About what? Go ahead and ask.
Ok, allora in realtà abbiamo praticamente parlato di tutto. Quindi poi in realtà l'altra opzione è la romance. Oh, adesso spettacolo.
Statement. Master, if you could indulge me for a moment, I must express some degree of irritation at your actions. Perhaps my anticipation of working with one who served at Malachor 5 was too high, but you are countering all those expectations. Statement. Well, all your behavior up to this point suggests either strong atonement or confirmation that the atrocities attributed to you during the war were in fact accidents. Statement. I suspected as much, Master. There are few who would discuss such things with an assassination droid, and that is perfectly understandable. I mean, what use is there for communication in a galaxy such as ours? Understanding might be achieved, or sympathies might be gained by such callous acts. You are right to remain silent about your past. I have seen the damage that repressing such things brings, and it is far preferable to share such traumas. Answer. Why? Because your actions then and now are related, and I feel I need some context. I confess to being somewhat needy that way. Statement. Sometimes, Master, it is difficult for meatbags to step back and gain some perspective on death and its importance in their insignificant lives. Explanation. You see, Master, assassination is such a versatile tool. I have seen the removal of a single target have far-reaching consequences for a nation, world, even a galaxy. The repercussions of even the smallest lives, whether dead or alive, can have profound implications on history. But surely you realize this. Statement. Master, please, any comparisons between me and your meatbag status leaves a fluctuating, intermittent charge through my control clusters. I was only trying to bring death and its impact to your attention. Statement. Why your own life, Master? Your single life changed the face of the galaxy, of history itself. Malachor 5 was an impressive act of destruction, but its impact on the lives of others in the galaxy was far more extreme. I mean, Master, you brought about the death of the Mandalorian race. I doubt they realize it yet, but you dealt them a blow from which they will never recover. Statement. Oh, Master, who deserved what and why is of no consequence. It is only killing a target and how it is done that matters. Statement. Master, before you go, I had a question for you. Query. I must express some degree of confusion concerning your actions. You are the one who followed Revan in the Mandalorian Wars, are you not? Observation. Well, Master, I was not at Malachor 5 during your near genocidal reaction to the Mandalorian threat, but I feel that I may have been constructed as a result of that. Observation. I believe that Revan determined that mass slaughter on such a scale may no longer be needed to achieve his aims. So perhaps you are responsible for my creation. Answer. No, Master. I was constructed shortly after the beginning of the Jedi Civil War. Answer. Well, Master, unless you were operating on my central control cluster, I would be somewhat hesitant to discuss my targets, but I suppose it could do no harm. During the Jedi Civil War, I was responsible for certain strategic targets. For some reason, Revan did not feel that the Republic presented much of a military threat. Aside, I am somewhat unclear as to why this was so, but Revan did have a certain biological instinct regarding such things, so I will simply say that there were probably reasons for such an assessment. Answer. Revan felt the true war was against the Jedi. Observation. It was not something discussed with much of the others, but I think Revan recognized that a single Jedi, both in the past and in the present, could turn the tide of a conflict. So my targets were frequently Jedi, or someone close to a Jedi that could result in their corruption or collapse. Revan often assigned me to kill leaders or supporters of certain Jedi so as to erode their will.
Interessantissimo questo cambio di prospettiva. Come vedete, in realtà Revan, che è stato il perno delle guerre che stiamo vivendo, la guerra mandaloriana, la guerra civile, in realtà Revan, dopo aver ordinato e visto il massacro di Malachor 5, di cui tra l'altro noi siamo responsabili, noi come personaggio giocante, ha cambiato tattica e non considerava la Repubblica una minaccia. Quindi in realtà Revan non stava attaccando il cuore istituzionale della galassia, ma ne stava attaccando il cuore pulsante, ossia i Jedi. Quindi Revan in realtà era un altro che riteneva che l'ordine dei Jedi fosse un ostacolo al progetto di un nuovo tipo di galassia. E qui in realtà vedete, HK ci sta dicendo una cosa interessantissima, ossia che lui è stato creato per assassinare in maniera chirurgica personaggi, persone, supporters, in modo che i Jedi cadessero nel lato oscuro.
Answer. Revan saw the pressures of war on Duxon and knew that even in the heat of conflict, Jedi could be broken, not physically, but psychologically. Observation. It is a curious thing to assassinate and wound someone's personality, to assassinate them psychologically, and it took me some time to reconcile the acts. I am much more used to their direct approach. Still, I served well and killed many Jedi. Observation. Master, that was the lesson of Malachor. Any Jedi involved in the systematic slaughter on such a scale cannot help but doubt and question themselves. Observation. Master, I do not believe that the Mandalorians were the true target at Malachor. I believe that the intention was to destroy the Jedi, break their will, and make them loyal to Revan. I do not know if you examined the records of the deaths on Malachor, but you cannot escape that many of the Jedi and Republic soldiers who died were not Revan's strongest supporters. Observation. I believe that Revan was cleaning house at Malachor 5. What ones did not die became Revan's allies against the Republic.
Questa affermazione di HK rovescia totalmente la prospettiva. Il gioco fino a questo momento ci ha detto che Malachor 5 è stato l'atto estremo per vincere la guerra contro i Mandaloriani. Il droide personale assassino di Revan, perché questo è HK-47, è un personaggio anche del primo Knights of the Old Republic, invece rovescia la prospettiva. L'obiettivo di Malachor 5 non erano i Mandaloriani, ma i Jedi, rompere lo spirito dei Jedi.
Answer. Oh, yes, Master. I hope none of them were friends of yours. But
E tra l'altro
really,
l'ironia di
they
HK
had
è
it
qualcosa di
coming.
meraviglioso.
I do not know when the Jedi ceased to be adherents to their code, but many did not tread cautiously, and many were quite arrogant when facing a droid, as if we were somehow beneath them. It gave certain kills an added pleasure when being underestimated. Cautionary. Master, don't take this the wrong way, but in my opinion, a blaster shot to the throat is often the best way of silencing Jedi hypocrisy. I
Bellissimo.
have found many Jedi to be arrogant practitioners of pacifism when it is convenient for them. Also, their tendency to never directly answer a question is rather annoying. Statement. I do not have the exact counts, Master. Since it is difficult to determine who was a Jedi and who was not, it seemed to be largely a matter of perspective. I did kill many soldiers who used techniques in combat that could make them be considered Jedi, although they call themselves Sith. Answer. Master, when conventional weapons will not work, then one must resort to other means of assassination. When Jedi, or Sith, or whatever they call themselves, cannot be defeated with weapons, then use doubt. Evaluation. It sounds as if this Sith Lord is somehow able to keep fighting, no doubt by drawing on his connection to the Force to keep him alive, even after suffering grievous harm. It may be whatever pain he experienced in the past was so great that the technique he used to recover from it and sustain himself also gives him an incredibly high pain
Sta parlando
threshold.
di Lord Sion.
Answer. Well, Master, you have heard of Jedi healing techniques. That is certainly possible. The Sith may have their equivalent, although it seems known only to this particular Sith Lord. I know many Jedi and Sith have exhibited strange behavior in near-death situations. This may be another example. Observation. It does seem unlikely, Master, but I have observed that you, allies included, seem to be able to recover from the most
Ovviamente
grievous
non può averci
injuries,
osservato, è
and
un
quickly as
trucco la
well.
sceneggiatura.
Perhaps it is not as uncommon as one would think. Besides, it really doesn't matter what you believe. Observation. Perhaps. Clarification. Master, I spoke literally. It doesn't matter what you believe, it matters what this Sith Lord believes. If his strength comes from his connection to the Force, then you must undermine that connection, Master. Answer. Doubt, Master. It has killed many Jedi, and it has killed many Sith. Make him doubt himself, his beliefs, or his intentions. Such things disrupt connections to the Force, and death soon follows. The only question is what belief or intention he holds dear that would make an effective target. Answer. Oh, Master, I have no idea. That does present something of a problem. If you should encounter the target in the future, I would bait him into talking and see what you can draw from him that you can use against him. Statement. Yes, Master. I must confess, I enjoy it when you are so authoritative and dismissive toward me. It bodes well for your treatment of our enemies.
Che ovviamente noi con l'allineamento che abbiamo perdiamo solo influenza con
Query.
HK.
Is there someone that you need killed, Master? Statement. Ah, you wish to conduct an interrogation? Very well, proceed. Statement. Oh, yes, Master. Pain is really the only reliable means by which truth may be obtained. Or so I choose to believe.
I choose to believe.
Statement. Very well, Master. But if you wish to be brutal and vicious about it, know that I am trained for such things. Do your worst. Statement. Master, I am no behavior droid, but it is obvious to me that you have serious ethical problems that will need to be
Ethical
treated at
problems.
some point. Very well. Ask your questions. If you feel the need to make it an interrogation, however, do not restrain yourself. I would be saddened if you held back.
Allora, vediamo.
Statement. Master, that is a question that has an extremely complicated answer. You see, I do not believe my master knew who he was most of the time, which led to some confusing situations that could have otherwise been avoided. Clarification. Suffice to say that my master had his ups and downs, and, in my opinion, traveled from a high point in his life to a low point, and then back again to his true potential. He could be a merciless, efficient killer when the need arose. It really made my behavior core glow. And even as a meatbag, my master still had some remarkably efficient droid-like qualities which I admired. He, too, suffered memory problems, as I did. Statement. Oh, yes, Master. As indicated upon my reassembly, my central control cluster is damaged, making recalling my previously stored assassination protocols difficult. I hope that over time I shall eventually reach the status and skill I possessed before I was damaged. Recollection. The last thing I remember is having my core wiped from the last 5 years. I believe my master was responsible. Answer. Even with my memory impairment, I recall that my master was about to embark on a dangerous journey. Conjecture. I believe there was something about my master's destination that he did not wish me to know. Answer. I am somewhat disappointed that my master did not choose to take me along, of course. Wherever my master traveled, destruction and death were assured. Speculation, but I suspect I was not the only one left behind. So there is some satisfaction that the disrespect was spread through the rest of his whiny, simpering meatbag allies. Statement. Oh, yes. My master had quite the collection of tortured individuals that seemed unable to confront their basic personality conflicts. Let me cite some specific examples. Mockery.
Oh, Master! I do not trust you! I cannot trust you or anyone ever again!
Mockery.
Oh, Master, I love you, but I hate all you stand for. But I think we should go press our slimy, mucus-covered lips together in the cargo
Non credo che abbia mai
hold.
pronunciato questa
Conclusion.
frase.
Such pheromone-driven human responses never cease to decrease the charge in my capacitors, and make me wish I could press a blaster pistol to my behavior core and pull the trigger. I am pleased that this does not seem to be the case with your current entourage. Statement. Yes, well, enough of that painful stroll.
È bellissimo.
Statement.
TK è uno dei personaggi migliori di sempre e tra l'altro nel suo sarcastico cinismo ha dato una rilettura totale del background di questa trama.
Theory. Well, Master, I believe I was shot repeatedly. Once reduced to my component parts, I suspect pieces of me were sold across the galaxy. Statement. I am an extremely valuable piece of equipment after all, Master. My parts were no doubt costly to obtain, and their new owners hesitant to part with them. I would be most distressed if you were to shoot me, attack me, or dismember me in any way. I do not wish to repeat the experience. Statement. Statement. Ah, yes. Them. Very well.
Ah,
What did you wish to
yes. Them.
know? Answer. Master, I do not know. The location of the factory churning out these copies eludes me. And I
Notate
do
il
not know
disprezzo.
where they would have
Copies.
obtained schematics of my design. They are built from my template. Of that I know for certain. Answer. Because of my self-preservation program. My behavior core recognizes these templates as still being me, despite their individuality. I could no more shoot them than I could shoot myself. It is a frustrating situation that has been looping through my behavior core for some time. Statement. Statement. Master, there are 2 reasons for this. 1. The probability of them showing up around you is statistically high. If I travel with you, then my chances of encountering these clones is also high. The second reason is a little more complicated. You see, even though those clones are obviously cheap, artless imitations of me, well, they are still me. Answer. Somehow these droids are built from my schematics. This causes certain complications. Answer. Because of my self-preservation program, I could no more. Answer. Master. As part of my original programming, I am able to communicate in over 600 languages. This usually amounted to short verbal warnings when killing non-basic speaking targets, which gave me some small measure of satisfaction. Answer. Yes. I believe my original master needed this functionality in order to recover information from various indigenous tribes across the galaxy, but I know little else than that. Suffice to say that that translation capability allowed these copies of myself to assume the role of protocol and translation droids in much of known space. That is, of course, not their primary function. And while they are attempting to pass themselves off as translation droids, their primary functionality keeps rising to the forefront. Recitation. For example, on Praven Prime, the simple transferring of Elzing syntax for friendship changes its meaning and implies that one's broodmate was actually impregnated by their own host.
That wasn't said to them directly, was it?
Confirmation. Oh, truly. You can imagine the results. Statement. This comment, of course, caused a civil war between the Guvandi Collective and Elzing that still persists to the current date. Answer. My feelings on the matter are something that I feel I must put in proper context, in a way that even a meatbag such as yourself could easily comprehend. Theory. Imagine, if you will, that you are unique, the pinnacle of an exiled, cast-out Jedi who can't even use the Force. Imagine that no one has sunk lower than you, that you are truly the most miserable example of a Jedi ever.
Bellissimo.
Continuation. Now that you have that image, imagine this. Someone clones you. Badly, I might add. They make the clones talk differently, rob you of any shred of personality, and take your Jedi code and adjust it, so that it is not really the Jedi code anymore. They even change your pigmentation to a rather poor shade of Durasteel, rather than the proper rusty red that inspires fear in targets. And of course, they refer to meatbags as organics. Unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Clarification. Anger would be an understatement for the heat that builds up in my behavior core when these cheap imitations make their presence felt throughout the galaxy. Statement. Part of the indignity of all these copies is that they impair my ability to perform my function. The more people throughout the galaxy recognize me as an illegal assassination device, the more difficulty I will have in carrying out my mission. Statement.
Okay.
Answer. I do not know why these clones chose now to start revealing themselves. Theory. I can only assume that some critical moment is approaching where stealth and subtlety is no longer required. Not that those Durasteel-plated knockoffs know anything of stealth or subtlety. Observation. It is clear, however, that they have been placed throughout the galaxy at critical junctures, both in the Republic fleet and in neutral worlds. and they seem to be looking for Jedi.
Ci siamo. Vogliamo farlo arrabbiare?
Statement. Master, you wound me. Not physically, but in my behavior core. It is true that I once possessed many more protocols and upgrades, but time and damage has taken its toll. And I am afraid that I have a rather long history of memory problems, which has also compromised my effectiveness as well. Still, you will find me a valuable asset, Master, willing and able to terminate anything you point me towards. Query.
Allora.
Observation. It was not something discussed with much of the others, but I think Revan recognized that a single Jedi, both in the past and in the present, could turn the tide of a conflict. So my targets were free. Answer. Revan saw the observation. It is a I am... Observation. Master, that... Observation. Master, I...
Ok. Bellissimo secondo me la conversazione con HK. E soprattutto perché il gioco si affida al personaggio con praticamente quasi che sembra un saltimbanco e ci dà una lettura totalmente diversa del lore della storia.
Yeah, what do you want?
Allora, questo...
I fought countless battles, ones most didn't walk away from. The wounds add up, and even the implants are all that keep me going sometimes. I may have been stronger in my youth, and stupider, but now I've got to rely more on my armor, my weapons, and my cunning. Now, is there something else you needed?
Ok, questo è... Manca KOTOR.
Yes. Is there something you have come to offer me? The fact we are even having a conversation is gratitude. Usually, my conversations do not have the give and take that our current interaction does. And, of course, there is much more screaming on the part of the listener when the torture field is activated. I am willing to indulge some of your questions. There are several factors, all of which affect each other. There is the stabilization of Dantooine, the preservation of the restoration efforts on Telos, the political resolution on Onderon, and the unification of a religious power base in the galaxy, either Jedi or Sith. The destruction of my yacht and of all my activities on Nar Shaddaa carry a cost that would take you several lifetimes to pay back. But perhaps the offer of credits will spur you to act quicker, more decisively. I am not unsympathetic to such greed. For every system you stabilize, I will reward you for your efforts. Compassion and mercy only erode respect and power. There is the stabilization. You have stabilized Dantooine. The Republic has gained a power base in the Outer Rim. Telos is instrumental to the stability of the Republic. Its success or failure will dictate the economic forecasts of many other worlds. Of course, since the destruction of the Paragus facility, the odds of the Telos restoration project being successfully completed is close to zero. Of course it was. If you had not gone there, the facility would not have been destroyed. If you had simply surrendered to the Sith, then all of that violence would have been unnecessary. I hope you do not decide that the next thing that must be destroyed to stop the Sith is the galaxy itself. Perhaps one must ask themselves at what point defending your religious ideals is advantageous to the Republic as a whole. As long as your defense does not exterminate more than 50% of those you intend to help, is that acceptable? Onderon is an outer rim world, rich in ecological resources. Its aggressive ecology is capable of bringing devastated worlds back to life. It is currently experiencing a political schism split between two forces. One must triumph for the planet to be stabilized. You may speak. Now, that would be telling. For now, my presence must remain a secret, and it may remain that way forever. It has been assigned to guard and protect you. As such, it is well suited for a variety of tasks. It is skilled in intimidation, interrogation, and can provide a series of select skills that will make it an effective killing machine. For the most part, it will follow your orders, unless they conflict with mine. Then its proton core will detonate, turning this ship into space dust. There is no negotiation in this. I will not allow you to interfere with my operations and plans. This unit comes with a droid scrambler that you may use against mechanized opponents to randomize their defensive and offensive protocols. Use it, and it will cause droids to wage a civil war in their programming, and they will turn on their allies. Its power source is not limitless, but it is enough. In addition, this unit comes equipped with a portable cloaking generator. It will allow it to enter places undetected in reconnaissance mode. How droll. What an amusing Jedi specimen you are. What have you brought me? And of course, the assassin droids. I have encountered some, purchased the service of others. Why, I asked them to. To be honest, I believe that was always their intention, but it seems their directive was dormant for some time. If you mean produced, no, I do not. I do know that there are a surprising number scattered throughout the Republic fleet searching for you. What they will do now that you are found is easy to predict. They are masquerading as protocol droids. I have discovered that when they are used in negotiations, they have a predictable pattern of sabotaging whatever peace treaties they are involved with. Because the Republic has no reason to investigate otherwise, and any discovery of their true purpose has been concealed by well-timed accidents. Because their behavior is predictable, of course. By monitoring their presence, I know which worlds will suffer civil wars, planetary conflicts, and Republic bombardment. Of course they are. They're droids with very specific protocols that, unless changed, will dictate their movements. Unless you shut them down at the source, they will be stalking you until you are captured or terminated. Why don't you ask their predecessor? That archaic, memory-impaired assassination droid will know more about his subsequent generations than I would. I am willing to indulge a common misconception not supported by facts. Revan did not intend to destroy the Republic. He deliberately left the infrastructure of many planets intact, and many military production facilities. I believe that by whatever means he used to build his armada, he recognized that it was somehow a limited source, or that he was only willing to use it to a point. My prediction is that whatever production facility was being employed, it carried a price that Revan perceived as detrimental to the goals of the Sith. And that is why Revan left many military production facilities in the Republic intact. That is what occupies my calculations as well. I believe that Revan saw a war on another front that we did not, or saw the value in keeping a strong military force. That is also a mystery to me. I do not have any evidence upon which to build an answer. It is significant that after the defeat of Malak, forces decreased considerably, and after Revan's departure from known space, production ceased completely. It is my prediction that whatever was producing such forces needed a strong, effective leader to ensure its stability. Without Revan or Malak, there was no such figure left among the Sith. Unlike Revan, Malak demonstrated no concern for the future of the Republic in his attacks. His stratagems were painfully obvious, intending to crush all resistance everywhere. There was little thought beyond the complete destruction of anything that opposed him. He left quite a mess. I'm still trying to assess all the damage. Between the two, I would have preferred Revan rule the galaxy. He had foresight in his conquest, a subtlety that Malak did not possess. You may...
Bene, abbiamo parlato con tutti i compagni, manca soltanto Kreia. Non dovrebbero esserci altre opzioni nuove
Yes. Ask.
Non
Yes.
dovrebbero esserci altre cose.
It's... Is this...
No, Kreia non offre altre opzioni. A questo punto allora facciamo l'ultima cosa prima di salutarci.
Yeah, something wrong? Feels better to be back here, not cooped up on that ship. Well, Nar Shaddaa maybe it's got a lot. Yeah, well... Alright, prove it. You can show me now if you want. Alright, but I doubt you're gonna show me anything I don't already know. And when you show me, don't act like...
Allora, non è questo lato. Questo.
What's wrong? Why are you stopping?
Eccoci.
I've been out here hundreds of times. There's nothing special about it.
Feel the currents here on Nar Shaddaa, the ebb of life. A simple kindness can be given to another. This is the Force, and all our choices, from the greatest to the smallest, affect each other, and the echoes travel.
I can feel this planet. I can't shut it out. It's louder now, it hurts. All these people. But if I become a Jedi, I'll have to turn myself in for the credits. Are you gonna train me? I want to become like you. I want to be strong. I don't want to be afraid or alone anymore. I don't want to keep running and looking and never feel like I'm finding what I'm looking for. I am tired of being hunted. When the galaxy takes something from me, I want the power to let go. And I want the power to heal the echo when it's gone. That sounds all right from where I'm standing.
Devo Devo dire che mi ha quasi commosso. E adesso Mira. Anche lei può utilizzare i poteri della forza. Tra l'altro volevo fare un'altra cosa.
I wanted to say thanks for what you showed me on Nar Shaddaa. It's gonna take some time to let it sink in, but thanks. I feel alive. It's strange, but it feels right somehow, like a piece inside me just clicked into place. Talk. About what? Why, you tried to be my father? No thanks. Already had one. Somewhere.
Proviamo a fuoco alla Roma.
Are you sure you're a Jedi? That exile of yours must have gone on longer than I thought. Look, you're way too old for me. Even if I were interested, you couldn't handle me anyway. I mean, you're really good in a fight, and you've got those intense eyes. And it's obvious you take care of your body, but I really don't have the luxury of getting attached to you. Besides, you already have your little entourage. I don't want to be a part of the pack, you know? Look, if we start sharing a bunk, the other girls would get upset, and then I'd have to kick the hell out of them to show them who's the pack leader around here. No thanks. You're sweet, old guy. But let's keep it professional. It's more than age. I thought I'd seen a lot, but you look like you're 100 inside.
Ok, come vedete siamo stati respinti. Interessante questa cosa, che ci siamo fatti frenzonare da Mira. Come vedete quindi è possibile praticamente convertire l'intero proprio equipaggio al percepire la forza. Questa è un'altra caratteristica bellissima di questo gioco. E ovviamente poi anche l'estrema libertà che abbiamo. Noi siamo liberi di dare a Mira la sua spada laser, ma possiamo, ma viste anche le sue performance con i blaster, possiamo anche lasciarla sparare, tra virgolette. E questa cosa comunque è molto bella, perché dà un controllo, una connessione con i personaggi che pochissimi altri giochi hanno dimostrato di saper fare.
HK-47, I did not realize that you still existed, especially now that the other generations are activated.
Query, what is it you wish, Fat One?
I see that your recent reassembly has not affected your behavior core, nor your attitude.
Statement. If I require a similar diagnostic in the future, I shall seek out the Iridonian.
Oh, I do not think so. There is much work that needs to be done first.
Statement. My memory core has suffered some damage. Statement. Yet somehow, a gap in my circuits makes me feel as if I should remember you. Statement. This is all the more important since during my routine inspection of all potential escape routes from this vessel, I made an interesting discovery. Observation. The navicomputer is voice-locked. As a consequence, you are now responsible for course corrections and astrogation. Statement. That is indeed a great burden. It also raises many questions. Query. Why would someone lock the navicomputer? Answer. Presumably to hide where one has been. Statement. I believe this ship has been somewhere. Somewhere you wish to keep hidden.
Bene. Ultimo tentativo con 3. Fallimento. Fallimento. Ok.
Yeah, something wrong.
Ok, io volevo mostrarvi anche una romance, ma penso che ormai non sia più possibile.
Yes? I am training, so that, and I had forgotten.
Ok, ci ci siamo pronti per sbarcare su Onderon per l'ultimo pianeta da pacificare. Lo faremo la prossima puntata.